What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the fourth album by rapper Twista. Basically, this project is called Kamikaze, and it came out in early 2004, the winter of 2004. So I'd have to say about this particular project, this is kind of seen as Twista's comeback project after his last album before that, which is basically the 1998 album Mob Stability with the Speed Not Mobsters as far as that pitch kind of went. Now Twista did drop some stuff in between. He had like Adrenaline Rush 2000. He had like Adrenaline Rush 2000, which came in the year 2000, which was kind of like a compilation album. And he had like some kind of compilation projects that came out in 1999. I forget what they're called, but they're just like some extra type ones. It was like with the group projects and pitches like that. I forget exactly what they're called. They're kind of floating around. I'm eventually going to get to those if they do have some new content on there and stuff like that. But Twista did drop some albums in like 1999, 2000, 2001 pitches like that. He was trying to come up on the scene, but it just didn't work out that well. It was kind of some awkward times for Twista between like 1998 and 2003. Initially, I had seen like possibly he was like signed to Rockefeller or some pitches like that. I remember seeing in like some particular project that Twista was going to put out Kamikaze like in 2002 or 2003 or something, but it kept getting delayed. He kind of needed like a bigger hit single. But Kanye West was something that happened. Kanye West was something that happened in late 2003, early 2004. So he helped bolster Twista's career in early 2004. He gave Twista 3 beats, including 2 singles that were some of Twista's biggest around that time. It was pretty good pitch. Slow Jam was kind of like a conjunction single that was kind of Kanye West and kind of Twista's in that same pitch. That song hit #1. That's definitely a classic song from the early 2000s, I'd have to say. But yeah, Twista got to like 6 singles on this particular project. There was a whole bunch of these on here. Twista really crested throughout 2004. Was definitely one of the biggest rap artists of 2004 as far as that particular one. This album went double platinum, so it was a pretty big deal 20 years ago as far as that pitch kind of went. It was interesting just because for the most part, all these singles really did pretty damn well. There's songs on here, not just like Overnight Celebrity and Slow Jams, but also songs like So Sexy and Sunshine did pretty well as well. And then there were extra songs like So Sexy Part 2, and then Hope, that was like another one. So there was like 6 singles off this particular project. Twista really crested off this particular one. It built into like the concept of what came after that, which was The Day After in 2005, which is an album I reviewed last summer 2023 as far as that pitch kind of went, which is a pretty good album as well. I want to say I give that album a 10, so it's a pretty good pitch. But this is definitely like a classic album. This is another one that's going to get a really rave score. This has a classic impact. It's one of the better albums. Definitely one of the highlighted ones to talk about in rap music out of the 2000s decade, I would have to say in particular. It's definitely one when you think of like albums like The Eminem Show, Get Rich or Die Tryin', Chronic 2001, Exhibits, Restless, pitches like that, some of those type ones. Kanye West, The College Dropout, Commons B, some of those type ones. This is definitely like a seminal album out of the 2000s decade from not just from Twista, but just out of rap music in general out of the 2000s. So it was just a huge deal back around the time. Even if Twista was kind of like a more gimmick and kind of novelty rapper, I don't think he's a gimmick rapper, but just kind of a more novelty rapper where his hits are kind of here and there for the most part. He always managed to get like 1 or 2 off his albums, but he never was like as full blown big as like 50 Cent, Eminem, Dr. Dre, people like that, Kanye West, Jay-Z, some of those type of folks. But it's just kind of the concept. He didn't quite break out of like hardcore territory, but he got pretty close with this particular album, I'd have to say. It's definitely like an impactful type one. I think if he had had another couple albums like this, he might have been like a household name just in that relative territory. But it's just kind of the concept. Kanye West definitely helped Twista around this time, I'd have to say. It's too bad that they didn't have more team ups later on, but that's just kind of the concept about it. So yeah, the singles off this particular album, Wikipedia only says that there were 5, but I remember Hope being a single around that time. They used to say that Hope was a single. They used to say that Hope was a single back in the day, further back in the day as far as that pitching goes. So I'm going to talk as if like I want to say that Hope was the single that was released after So Sexy. So I'll talk about that one being the 4th single as far as that goes. But yeah, there were 6 singles. Basically, the first one was Slow Jams. So the first single was Slow Jams. This was kind of like a pseudo Kanye West / Twista hit. It was on both the College Dropout and this particular album. So this is like a classic kind of early 2000s soulful hit, I'd have to say in particular. Definitely some pretty good chipmunk soul as far as that particular kind of goes. There's like a superb kind of Twista and Kanye chemistry that this song particularly kind of has, and this is just like a plush and kind of tamer ladies hit, I'd have to suppose. Real nice one. Definitely need more songs like this just with that sort of appeal, because this is definitely like this song says, Slow Jams. It's definitely like a down tempo type song that just has so much appeal. Jamie Foxx being on this song in addition to Kanye West and Twista is just a pretty excellent type concept to kind of get on here. Definitely need more concepts like this where just like down tempo type songs actually hit. that apple. This was just a very emphatic song 20 years ago. This is definitely a song that was playing everywhere back around that was playing everywhere around late 2003, early 2004 as far as that pitch can went. But even places like MTV, VH1, not just in radios, but just all around as far as that pitch goes. It's definitely a good highlighted one. As I'd say about this particular one, I do feel like the concept of getting some more down tempo songs like this is probably one that I'm surprised hasn't been sampled by this particular point as far as that particular kind of goes. I definitely feel like Jamie Foxx and Kanye did a great job on here as well. Twista really shreds this particular song. It's just an Apple type one. It's not normally that Twista hits #1, something like that, but what I'd say is just a good This is just a real good, excellent combination that just works for all parties involved as far as that particular pitch kind of goes. Just one that's kind of obscure, kind of like a shot. It's kind of like lightning in a bottle in like a certain sense, but definitely just the concept of being able to have this hit potential is just a pretty good concept. So it's just a nice one, classic early 2000s type hit as far as that kind of goes. I definitely, this kind of seems more like a Kanye West type reason that this was more Kanye that was responsible for this more so than Twista and Jamie Foxx. But I just look after this, just an overall highlight type one. This works pretty damn well. This is kind of the concept, but yeah, it's just a classic one. Overnight Celebrity is the second single. This is another Kanye West. Overnight Celebrity is the second single. This is another Twista and Kanye West type team up as far as that particular kind of goes. This is round 2 of like the Kanye West Twista kind of team ups. This is round 2 of like the Kanye West Twista kind of team ups that I'd had to say in particular. It's like a classic 2000s hit, just like Slow Jams. I'd had to say this one's a little bit more club oriented, but it's a pretty nice one. Just to say about Slow Jams also, that's just a real mellow type one. It's real breezy type song, Slow Jams, just to be able to say, but it works pretty damn well in like the clubs. It's just a real emphatic type one, just for some better soothing type personalities, more so than the ravenous type fare of some nightclub songs as far as that pitch can go. So it's a real smooth one for ladies, definite club fare for Slow Jams, but it's just a down tempo one that works in the club. But Overnight Celebrity is a pretty nice classic 2000s hit. I'd say this has a hit catchy sample. I would definitely feel like, and this is just a good club hopper. I definitely would say in particular, this is probably one of Twista's biggest songs overall. When you think of Twista, you think of the Kamikaze album in a lot of senses. This is just a good example of some classic Twista that kind of goes along with it. This is pretty much like classic Kanye West type beat as far as that particular pitch kind of goes along with it. Just some excellent stuff. Just a real nice one. Nice cruise around type tune. It's been in video games, pitches like that. I remember this particular song being in Midnight Club 3 as far as that pitch kind of went along with it. Just some good stuff just as far as that pitch kind of went. Some excellent type fare. Another single that was pretty nice is So Sexy. This is the third single. Basically, this has R. Kelly on like the background vocals and extra. He's on the chorus and pitches like that. It's like a surprise hit third single, I'd have to say, with Affable Bounce. I would definitely feel like R. Kelly definitely nails this song, as does Twista. I would definitely feel like, as far as that pitch can goes, and this is just a ladies tune with like some dance appeal, I would definitely have to say. So it's a good concept. This one was kind of a surprising one. This is what made, I feel like songs like this is what made Kamikaze such a classic album. Just the fact that Twista was able to get to the third single and have another one. Back in these days, back in the 2000s, there would be concepts like Exhibit and folks like that. Definitely Eminem, 50 Cent, some of those type of people would be able to get to like the third and fourth single, and they would chart just within some of those aspects where they would drop them months after the album came out as far as that pitch kind of went along with it. Just another fact that there was just like another stock hit on here. Most of the time nowadays, you just get like a bunch of songs that chart and you don't really pick out the singles as far as that kind of goes. But I look after this as a pretty good pitch of just like a surprise hit where it's like, oh yeah, Slow Jams was good. Overnight Celebrity was good. So Sexy happened to be another one just to kind of keep the energy going. Just as far as that pitch kind of particularly went along with this. This is another highlight one. And this also proved that Twista could chart without Kanye West, that you didn't need him as a crutch as far as that went. But I do like these R. Kelly and Twista teams. They definitely have some highlight stuff. I do like normally when they team up on things. They've teamed up on a number of albums, so it's a pretty good concept. I would definitely recommend to look for like the R. Kelly and Twista team ups. Hope was the fourth single. Now, Wikipedia doesn't list that as much nowadays, but I do want to say that I think that was kind of a single back in the day. It's like a basic kind of delicate introspective single, I'd have to say. It's just a good tamer kind of traverse ruminating of a song, I'd have to say in particular, and this song goes well with Sunshine. I would definitely feel like it's just a pretty dope song. The thing about this one, just the concept behind it, is just the fact that CeeLo Green is on here, and I want to say that back in the day it had like a female on there. I don't remember who it was, but there's been some redacted type stuff and some changes and alterations that's happened about Kamikaze since 2004 when it first came out, kind of similar to like T.I.'s song Let's Get Away that had some variations that kind of came. T.I.'s Let's Get Away had some variations that kind of changed that particular song later on as far as that pitch kind of went along with it. But that kind of happened with Hope as well. I don't remember CeeLo Green being on that particular song. It seems like they kind of have negated the fact of it being released as a single, and I kind of question why. I think the original song probably was released as a single, but I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was like sample issues, something like that. But is a pretty nice song. Just some basic kind of introspective type feels. Twista talks about Aaliyah and Left Eye dying, and Jam Master Jay dying, some of those type folks. The Twin Towers, some of those type pitches. 9/11, some of those type pitches. As far as that particular kind of goes, just a real nice one. Kind of something that would seem like something that Tupac would do or Scarface would do. Some of that introspection and ruminating that goes pretty well. I just like the fact that this was released. I like the fact that originally Hope was released as a single. This is a pretty good concept. I mean, normally I don't always vibe with like normally I don't super vibe with like the super optimistic type songs, but this is just a pretty good concept of one that worked pretty well, I'd have to say. Sunshine is the 5th single. This is another one that surprisingly charted pretty high. This is like a top 30 single or 35 single back in 2004 as far as that pitch kind of went. It's basically like a late summer single out of 2004 as far as that pitch kind of went. I don't remember it on MTV and pitches like that back in 2004, but I would have to say it's a pretty good concept. It's definitely like a sunny kind of summer day, basic vanilla commerce routine of a song, I'd have to say. And the song is basically like a sunny summer day, basic vanilla commerce of a song, I'd have to say. It's like a routine kind of work shift hopper, I would definitely feel like, and this is just some good commercial aimings that I feel like the song particularly kind of has. Definitely appreciate it. I like the fact that Anthony Hamilton is on this particular song. It's a good pairing just because Anthony Hamilton was kind of big in 2004 as far as that pitch kind of went, getting some songs like this. He was also on Jadakiss' Why, some good pitches like that, so some good concepts. It's really like a sunshiny day. I really like the concept of just some basic kind of sunny day type fare, just some basic summer bop as far as that kind of goes. Not really like a club song, not really like a lady song pitches like that, just some enjoying the sunlight pitches like that. Just kind of, I mean, I suppose in some senses it could be like a summer type. It could be like a smokish type tune, but it's not really as much like, it's not really so much like a getting crunk type tune. Just really appreciating like the outdoors and pitches like that. It just kind of feels like basic kind of cruise around type tune, maybe getting Popeyes, Burger King, something like that. Just basically being in the wind, some of those type pitches. Just really appreciating the breeze as far as that particular kind of goes. But it is a nice one just for air and running and stuff like that. Just routine work shift type stuff as far as that particular kind of goes. That's a nice one. And then the 6th single, which I don't recommend, is So Sexy Chapter 2, Like This. I didn't really like this one as much. Just didn't really like the production fare on there. I feel like the original So Sexy completely obliterates this particular production on here. It's just kind of a more So Sexy Chapter 2 is just a more delicate type one. Just really trying to be like I feel like So Sexy Chapter 2 is just trying to be more of like a dripping and plush type one that just didn't really work as well. It's just more of a dainty type song compared to the original So Sexy. So Sexy So Sexy Part 1 just had more of like a bounce and kind of like a dance appeal about it. But this one's just a lot more, just like more marinating, this more kickback, more hangout type fare that just is not as affable and quite as charming. I'd had same particulars. I don't recommend that one, but that's just one of 3 songs I don't recommend on here. So go ahead and say this album's going to get a 10 out of 10. I just kind of look after. We got a lot to talk about here. I'm going to try to speed through this pretty quickly just to not have this be like a 40-minute review. But basically, there's only 3 songs I don't recommend out of 17. The new edition of this has 2 songs. Instead of 16 songs, it has 18, which the 2 extra songs would be So Sexy Chapter 2, Like This, which I don't recommend, and then the Freak a Leak remix, which I don't recommend either. It's not to say it's a bad song, but I just kind of felt like it just was not that different from the original Freak a Leak with Petey Pablo, but it is a nice one to kind of get. It's not like I don't recommend it. It's just kind of concept. I just don't know the necessity of the particular song. The 3 songs I basically don't recommend on here would be Get Me, the first song, and then Art and Life, the last song on here. So that's the basic concept. So really, out of the original edition from 2004, I wound up recommending 14 out of 16 songs. So it's really just the first song and the last song I don't recommend. So it's obviously going to get a 10 out of 10. And then like the new song So Sexy Chapter 2, Like This, I just didn't recommend. So basically Art and Life, I just didn't like the production on there. I just would have to say it was just one that was kind of a little bit overly triumphant and just kind of really felt like a rugged type song, just really trying to stunt type song that just didn't work that well. Kind of like a Posse song, was just was kind of an awkward one in terms of the presentation. And then Get Me was just kind of an awkward type one in terms of the fare behind it. It was just kind of like trying to be like a soulful type one with a little bit of like ghoulishness, but then also kind of like a lyrical shredding type song. Like Twista has some lyrical songs on here like One Last Time and Kill Us All that just work better, but Get Me was just kind of one that just was not quite as emphatic as far as that particularly went. But that's water under the bridge, not in terms of the negative way, but just water under the bridge in terms of the positive way, because this album's going to get a 10 out of 10. Every other song on here I recommend. So basically, to talk about some of these, a real nice pounding club type song on here would be Like It 24. This has T.I. on here and Liffey Stokes from Speed Not Mobsters. I'd have to say this is like a pounding kind of heavy torque tune. I'd have to say in particular, this is like a nice blistering kind of club blitz of a song. I would definitely have to say it's definitely like a great smoke a few kind of spicy song for the ladies, I'd have to say in particular. So this one has a real pounding type fare about it. Really appreciate this one. It's a real nice twerk song, like I was saying. It's real good concept, just a good dance tune to kind of get. Works in pretty good pairing with So Sexy. Twista is really good at these ladies songs. It's pretty apparent he knocks out so many of these so many times. in some cases it becomes a fashion that he's better at lady songs than he is about turn up songs that are just more kind of rugged sense as far as that particular kind of goes. But he doesn't have that problem on this particular album. It's just kind of concept. You're going to notice a lot of songs on here really have some ladies type fare that are just good. Not all of these are just like plush type ones and more serenade type ones, I'd have to say. But Higher is a pretty nice one. This says Ludacris on here. It's a pretty good pitch and team up as far as that particular kind of goes. It's not a ton of Ludacris and Twista songs, but this is a nice one. This is like a stock kind of semi hangout, semi club pounder, I'd have to say in particular. It's like a more obscure kind of Ludacris and Twista team up, I'd have to say. And this is just a smoke several kind of torture. I would definitely feel like this for like a fun night, I'd have to say. It's a pretty nice one. Definite great song to get stoned to, pitches like that, get some smokage going, pitches like that, some hangout, powwow type fare, backyard party type fare as far as that pitch kind of goes, getting some Popeyes and pigging out and smoking as far as that particular pitch kind of goes. Real nice hangout type fare, putting on Jackass, PlayStation type music as far as that pitch kind of goes. I mean, it's kind of a club song. Like I said, semi hangout, can kind of be hangout type fare just with your pals and pitches like that, but it's also kind of a semi club type pounder just for like a night out, some pitches like that. A little bit more turn up type fare like a 24 and some of those type ones. One of the best songs on this particular album would be Drinks. Really appreciate this one. It's like a superb song for getting past tipsy. I would definitely have to say in particular. It's a pretty nice concept for that. It's like a beautiful hook on here and it's like some plush charismatic times. I would definitely have to say. Really appreciate this one. And Twista completely shreds this song. He really makes this song a lot of fun. Just the way that this song kind of is laid together is just a pretty excellent concept. I do like the fact that Twista likes to get his drink on and pitches like that. Definitely was pretty emphatic back in 2004. Some pitches like some of these are just some great ones to get cranked to, and I would definitely recommend. This is a club song. It's definitely one for like bartenders and pitches like that. Just some good pitches kind of have. All the alcohols that he lists on this particular song is pretty awesome to some of those type pitches. You definitely should. It's pretty simple to get some enjoyment out of this song. Another great song for the ladies like a 24 is Badunkadunk. It's definitely a pretty nice one. It's like a whimsical kind of extra hit for. It's definitely like a whimsical kind of extra hit tune for ladies with back. I would have to say in particular, pretty dope concept for some ladies with some ass as far as that particular pitch kind of goes. Like a vanilla night at like a club, I would have to say in particular. And this is just like a good typical kind of turn up, I'd have to say. Pretty nice one. Standard fare for like a night. This one's not as much like a full blown smokish type tune, I'd have to say, but definitely just with the focus being on ladies and just kind of getting your flirt on some pitches like that. Just the aspect of just being out and about and just trying to game and some of that type pitch, I'd have to say it's a pretty nice one just for like some vanilla nights at like turn up and Friday nights pitches like that. It just kind of being litty and spicy as far as that particular kind of goes. It's some good socialness. This would have to say. One Last Time is like a pretty good shredding type song, and I'd say this is one of the lyrical type ones. This is a Kanye West beat that works pretty well. I do like these Kanye West and Twista team ups. This is like a song where Twista gets to shredding on this particular one. Like I was saying, it's a great Kanye beat. I would definitely feel like it's a hard one. This would definitely have to say it's a pretty rugged type one. It's like an easy evening hustlers work shift malaise of a song, I'd have to say, and this is just an overall pretty good song. Just have to say about just the pitch behind it, just a real nice one. It's interesting that there are some work shift type songs on here. It was kind of an angle I wasn't expecting from Twista. I feel like songs like One Last Time and Kill Us All are some good examples of that. Just that evening kind of malaise of kind of being work shift, kind of pseudo work shift, where it's a little bit in like a hustler's format where it is kind of some stuff of just got done with work or task pitches like that. Just kind of car malaise pitches like that, just go and pick up some food and some relative pitches, but it's just kind of in a shredding sense of just being able to appreciate the times. So it's not as much a full-blown kind of gangster rap pitches like that, just more rugged type fare, but it is a pretty good concept to just kind of get some relative hustlers work shift as far as that particular kind of goes, and especially in a malaise type sense, just for some evening fare, it's a nice one. There's a series of smoother songs on here I'm going to talk about, one of which is Still Feels So Good. This is definitely one of which is Still Feels So Good. This is a pretty nice one. It's like a plusher kind of smooth song that feels like it should have had Johnny P on there. Johnny P from like the Do or Die type folks, some of that type pitch. Johnny P usually has some pretty classic hooks on those particular songs as far as that pitch goes. It's too bad that Johnny P wasn't on this particular album, but Jazzy Faye's on here. It's a pretty good replacement for that sort of pitch. But it does feel like it should have had Johnny P on this particular song. It's like a vintage kind of 90s twist. The song is like a vintage kind of 90s twisted type fare as far as that particular kind of goes. And this is a pretty good bop, I'd have to say. So it's a nice one. I want to say there's like a song called Feels So Good off of like Adrenaline Rush from 1997 as far as that pitch kind of goes. It's an interesting concept to kind of get that one. But I look after it, it's just a good type fare to get Twista back in the spotlight and doing some of that stuff that he did back in 1997 as far as that kind of goes. Because Twista is kind of like an OG as far as that pitch kind of goes back, going as far back as like 91, 92 as far as that pitch kind of goes. So some good stuff. But Pimp On's another nice highlighted one. I'd have to say it's like a basic kind of Pimp Cup high type tune. I'd have to say in particular pretty nice one for that concept. It's like swag. This song is definitely like swag rap from Midwest. I'd have to say in particular from like Illinois, Missouri, places like that. This is definitely like swag rap from Midwest. I'd have to say places like Indiana, Illinois, some of those type places, Missouri, Kansas, some of those type pitches in particular. And it's like a good late day club noise of a song. I'd have to say pretty good pitch for that. And this is just like some fraternize kind of fun. I'd have to say it's definitely pretty basic concept to kind kind of get that in particular. It's some real nice, pretty good pairing with, like, I'd have to say drinks and some of those type ones. So, I mean, this was not as ferocious as songs like One Last Time and Like a 24 and Higher, some of those type ones. It's a little bit more of like a smoother type one. Just kind of a good tune. Definitely something I could see Twista being on. Definitely something that Too Short needed to kind of be on as far as that pitch goes. And 8 Ball's pretty good. Nice look for that one as well as far as that kind of goes. Just some good 2000s type for just a basic type bop. This one may not have like the full blown immediate type appeal. Some of the more highlights on here when you think of songs like a 24, So Sexy, Overnight Celebrity, and Slow Jams. But this one definitely is like a pretty stock album cut, I'd have to say. Just another good extra type one. It's not a weak song, I'd have to say. It's just a good concept kind of get some of these. Just the fact that Twista filled out this album with some pretty classic appeal and affair as far as that particular kind of goes. This kind of one, this kind of feels like an in-between type cut that maybe most folks wouldn't pay attention to, but it is a pretty nice one. Snoopin' is another example of that. This is another smooth type song, another pimpish type song, I'd say. This one reminds me of like a song Too Short would kind of do in particular, despite the fact that Too Short's already on this album. But this would be a good song for Too Short to be on as well. It's like a good reflective lady song, I'd have to say in particular, basically. And this is like a basic kind of moody, and the song is like a basic kind of moody, ruminating song, I'd have to say. And it's just an overall pretty nice one. So I definitely appreciate the concept of this particular one. This real basic malaise type one. This is one that can definitely be for like 7:30, 8:30 p.m. pitches like that. This one's kind of like the moodiness of this particular song is pretty high. Just a real kind of glum type one to kind of get here. Just some ones that just some ones that are kind of in like the damn what's up kind of pitch, something like that SMH kind of territory as far as that pitch kind of goes along with it. Just some of that relative pitch as far as that kind of goes. Just some basic type tunes to kind of get here. It's a real nice one just for like some evening blaze, some car traverse home, just kind of being in a little bit, just kind of having like a chip on your shoulders and pitches like that as far as that particular kind of goes. Just some good basic concepts for like some good evening work shift, just got done with work type pitch, just a good concept. And then Kill Us All is another highlight type one to kind of get in particular. It's like another stock lyrical shred tune, I'd have to say. Real good concept for that. This goes well with One Last Time. I would definitely feel like this is a good pitch, and also goes well with like a 24 and Higher, some of those type ones. This is just like a good late day kind of work shift fire of a song, I'd have to say in particular. So there's some excellent type concepts on here. Twista does this one by himself. It's pretty good pitch for that. Just some good excellent concepts kind of get here. This vintage Twista just on that rugged type fare, just proving that he's not just ladies bound and pitches like that, and just more kind of commercial and stuff like that, just within that relative pitch as far as that kind of goes. So some good concepts kind of get some of these. Most of these are just shred type songs just to be able to pit. These particular songs are just shred type ones that just work pretty damn well. Just getting some lyrical fare as far as that kind of goes. Just getting some lyrical fare as far as that particular kind of goes. Just some good concepts. Twista is a pretty illicit lyricist. I definitely like the concept of him just being able to blisteringly knock out some of these. He always nails that particular aspect pretty well, in addition to like his rapid speed. So that's an excellent concept. But so yeah, I give this album like a 10 out of 10. The social score is going to get a 10 out of 10 also. I just look after the particular fanfare about it. There's just so many hit songs on here, plenty of good nightlife and ladies life. Just there's some ladies songs that are for nightclubs pitches like that, like a 24 and Badunka Dunk and some of those type ones. There's songs for getting fucked up like Higher and Drink, some of those type pitches. There's some evening work shift type songs that just have some lyrical shredding like One Last Time and Kill Us All. Some pimpish type ones like Snoopin' and Still Feel So. There's some pimpish type ones on here like Snoopin' and Still Feel So Good as far as that pitch kind of goes along with it. And there's just some extra kind of concepts on here in particular just to kind of get some of these, like all the singles, the blistering type singles, the Kanye West team up, some pitches like that, some good day malaise like Hope and Sunshine, some of those type ones. Just a lot of good excellent concepts kind of get in here. It's pretty varietized type album. Has basically what you're looking for: night, work shift, evening, day commerce, summer tunes, ladies songs, smokish tunes, getting fucked up pitches like that. There's plenty of good widespread type stuff to really get. Is what I'd say. So social score gets a 10 out of 10. In terms of the future, like Twista, not really full blown sure what Twista's been up to in recent times. He has plenty more projects. He basically has like an ass load more projects I'm going to have to get to. There's some ones, including some mixtapes that are kind of low key. That are not even on mixtape websites anymore as far as that kind of goes. We're definitely going to have to pick up some of these. Even if I have to purchase them to get them, I'd have to say there's some ones. There's definitely some ones from like the 2000s I still have to get to, some pitches like that. So we'll definitely get to some of these. I know he's at least dropped a project as recent as 2019 and possibly 2021. So we'll have to see about some of these. But this is just another stock hit. And this is classic Twista. I'd have to say just classic from the 2000s decade. Definitely a notable and seminal album from the 2000s that I highly recommend overall, I'd have to say.